What's up, everybody? You know what night it is. It is Thursday night off-centered with Dustin, the personal grazing cow, the personal finance dad, collecting Dustin the wind. The names can keep going on and on. It's also a special night because I did legs earlier today, which means I get to feast on 4 carrot cake cream cheese muffins, as well as 4 vegan muffins or cupcakes from Trader Joe's. So I'm very excited about that. Can't wait to dive into that later. But without further ado, welcome back. Now let's get to work. And we got a lot of news in the card world this week. We have eBay's policy update. We got PSA reopening to a degree coming up in July. And I'll bring on my guest right now, Dustin, who I don't know what's going on behind his head. Are you tired?
Oh, are you done? All right. Sorry.
That was like the most quick, efficient intro I've ever done. And I can't believe you fell asleep already.
The only part I caught was that you shaved your legs today. It's leg day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's every day. I mean, here in LA, man, we pamper ourselves here in Los Angeles. We can't go a couple days without shaving. Anyway, let's say hi to some of the guys here. I see Steven's watching. Appreciate you joining us. David Hunter, thanks again for your insight on the newsletter that will be coming out tomorrow morning. So I'll throw that up here. Let me see where the newsletter thing is. There we go. Okay, awesome. And David Hunter is the contributing author, so I appreciate all your work. Mike C., good to see you as well. AP finished talking to his Brady poster. Yeah, man. If there's a man crush, it is me and Tom Brady, just overall. Like, it was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It was Will Smith. But really, Tom Brady has got to be my man crush. Cody, good to see you. You as well, Larry. Flyer fan. I don't know if you're still in here. This comment was from 10:58 in the morning, so I doubt you're around, but I appreciate it. And what's up with you, man? Where are you, and why is there a giant red pillow behind your head? Are you going to bed or what?
I got kicked out of the house, and fortunately, a nice family found me on the side of the road and picked me up, and I'm in a guest bedroom somewhere.
Nice. You're not kidnapped. Because in Florida, I mean, you said you were going to Florida
if I blink twice.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was a show, there was a radio show. I don't know if you remember it. It was called Loveline. Do you remember Loveline? It was hosted by Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew years ago. It was a radio show. In the comment section, let me know if you know of the show Loveline. It was a radio show where kids and teens call up and they ask about their dating and certain issues. And there was a game that was played called Germany or Florida. And the game was they tell this story, this crazy story, like wife kills dog and feeds to kids. Is it Germany or Florida? And you had to kind of piece it together because apparently the craziest things in the world only happen in either Germany or Florida.
Got it. Yeah. No, I'm at the beach. So I'm at the beach with the family. They're watching Up in the other room. I've never seen it. It's a Disney movie that I guess starts out really dismal and then it's only up from there. But they're in the other room. I'm hiding in the back with you guys. So that's my life, hiding away.
And apparently Florida Wi-Fi is not very strong. So this will be a very interesting stream. What's up, ZT Laker? What's up, Brad?
I'm in North Carolina.
I was going to say, it's kind of nice that the bad Wi-Fi is kind of censoring you so I don't have to do it. It's kind of like already removing you from the stream. What's up, Michael Ham? All right, man. So look, you're in Florida. You're on vacation. Obviously, it's like the time to travel, the time to get out. I feel like there's just been that whole sense of it is June. Let's get outdoors. Let's do whatever. In terms of cards, though, anything on the card end, or have you been laying low?
Well, first off, I'm still in North Carolina, so I'm not in Florida. I'm in North Carolina, just at the beach in North Carolina. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I did buy. A couple weeks ago, I was in Florida. I was in Cocoa Beach, and I did buy a complete set of 86 Topps football. And I've had like little pickups here and there, but I wouldn't say over the last month that I've been buying a lot. Actually, since the Dallas show, that's probably the most that I've bought. in the last 5-6 weeks.
Any reason for that? With the prices being low, you would think, all right, if you're more of a collector, not investor, you would be okay buying more now. Is there a reason why you've slowed down?
It's probably a few different things. I mean, for one, and this is in part, I talked about it, I think last week. I want to have good funding for the national when we go to the national, and not because I think there's going to be amazing deals at the national. I think though, just as part of my experience of going, I want to make sure that, I'm well funded in case I do want to buy something, because I mean, the assumption is there's going to be, inventory everywhere for everything. So it's not going to be a matter of like, oh, do they have vintage, or do they have this, or do they have that? Like, they're going to have it. So I want to be, well funded and be able to enjoy it and buy stuff.
Yeah. What's funny is that when you go, you'll need to buy stuff to make decent content. I just have to play pranks on you. I don't have to buy a thing. I just need to play pranks on you to create watchable content. You're going to have to buy a whole bunch of cards.
No. I can make content I can just hang out with my wife and make content. Like, we don't have to even like buy cards. The truth is Brad hasn't bought a card in like 2 years.
You know what? This has been by far the slowest period of buying for me. I mean, and it's not because like the prices are good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm seeing some cards that have just that appear to have plateaued, at least over the last 4 or 5 sales. Maybe it dips from here, or maybe it goes up from here. But to the point where I'm like, all right, it's at a low price, low enough for me to think it's fine to go in. Maybe it doesn't pan out short term, but I feel like, all right, that's a good card, especially with like the Larry Birds and Jordans and Kobe's, the guys that you don't have to worry about their legacy. It's more just, okay, when will this card go back up? But for me, I'm almost maxed out just because I've been buying football, and I'm not going to buy anything else until I move the football, because even though there are deals now, my plan was move football, and then when I move football, see what else is on sale and buy that. But I don't want to put the cart before the horse and buy basketball or buy hockey or buy whatever else before I move what I have. And I think that's that's where a lot of people are at too, where they would buy more, but it's really hard when things aren't going up. Certain things aren't going up, because when you have that, this is up, this is down, this is up, this is down, then you have a lot of that movement. Sell this, buy this, do this. But when everything was hot and then everything's cooling, or most things are cooling, then it's like, all right, well, I can't really buy anything else because I wanted to move this first. And I feel like we're kind of in that category. And even if you want to have more at the national, it's like, if you could sell a couple cards for a great profit, it's a lot easier to then buy something that you like for the next 6 months. And for me, I'm like, all right, well, whenever football takes off, that's when I'll be able to sell and then roll it over into something else. But I'm not going to keep pouring money into something when I've already hit my allotted budget.
Yeah, I think kind of on the back of that too. I mean, there's a lot of things. I haven't necessarily bought a lot of stuff, but that doesn't mean that I'm not bidding on stuff. So it's kind of like there's a lot of different, and just from what, I collect a lot of vintage football. I collect modern stuff, but I mean, I like a lot. There's a lot of things I'm watching. I want to get into vintage baseball. There's certain cards I'm looking at there, vintage basketball. So, but the problem I'm having now, it's not really a problem. It's kind of like like you said, a lot of things are down. So I'm bidding I'm trying to undercut these auctions, coming in and I'm bidding low, and I'm just, I'm losing a lot of auctions, but I'm okay with that because there's just a lot of things I want. I just want a lot of stuff. So I'm just, and I did win one. I'll make a video on it, on this one buy in particular, but it's not that I'm not trying to buy. It's just, I'm trying to buy low, and I'm just not going to win most of them.
Yeah. It's funny you mention that, because with so much on sale and so much, I think just, attention's going in 50 different directions versus just 3 or 4 different directions. We want experiences right now. We don't want investments. We don't want collectibles. We want to like buy a barbecue and have friends over versus buy a card, right? Like that sounds more enjoyable for the average person, just because you haven't been able to do that since summer of 2019. So I'm like, well, that's not going to last forever. What's out there? And when I see a lot of cards that I like, that's when I'm going for the steals as well. And that's where I'm like, I want to put in a low ball offer. I want to put in something low and I want to make sure I feel like it really is low, as in the last couple sales look like it is plateaued. And then what's 25% less than that? And if it does ever go down to that point, then I have to be okay with it. But I'm looking for that steal. I'm looking for that card where I'm like, you know what? At this price, like, shit would have to hit the fan. Like, things would have to be dreadful for this card to actually be at that price normally and it not be a steal. So I'm in that same boat where it's okay just losing auctions all the time, because I just want to get that 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20 that I feel very good about it being an absolute steal.
Yeah, I agreed.
Is that all you got? I agree.
Oh, was I supposed to? Well, you pretty much just kind of like carried off of what I said. So you copied me, and now I'm supposed to say, yeah. I mean, that's basically what
I basically said it. I basically said it without Wi-Fi interrupting every other word. So I just filled in the gaps. But I mean, yeah, that's where I'm at as well. I just feel like it's an interesting period because I've never been at a time since getting back in where I haven't been buying and selling, right? There's been, and I think, look, when you see the card market like soften and soften, because it's been such a slow slide down, it's kind of annoying, right? Because it'd be a lot better if things just went down very quickly in a matter of weeks and then it plateaued and then we knew. But when things kind of trickle downwards over weeks and months, then it's annoying because we're like, all right, we're all waiting for that plateau. We're all waiting for these iconic cards to have 8 or 10 sales in a row and then start trickling up. And I started thinking to myself, look, if everyone or a lot of people have some sort of data tool, card ladder, market movers, something, if a lot of people are staring at these charts and they're seeing this, is this going to spike like crazy when everyone's on the sideline waiting? And then there's 3 sales that are at the plateau or at creating a floor. Then there's 5 sales. Then there's 6, and then the 7th one starts trickling up. The 8th one starts trickling up, and then all of a sudden everyone spots it. And then the 9th and 10th and 11th sale is through the roof, and we get another spike because everyone is waiting for that one point where it starts turning back up. It starts, and then you have 50 watchers on that one card, and then all of a sudden it's just a free for all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if everyone is having that type of mindset and strategy, is that like is that a way that the next spike will be ridiculous just because it'll be so quick where everyone is waiting for that point in time?
Yeah, I think that momentum probably does matter. I mean, it's kind of like what you said. It's been kind of trickling downward for a lot of cards for it's like slow, painful, slow pain kind of trickling down.
It's like, hurry the hell up. Just drop already. Just like be where it's going to be and then plateau. And then so we at least have a good idea of, all right, this is where the bottom should be or probably is, versus like every sale, 2% less, 3% less, up 4%, down 6%. And it's like,
yeah, no, I hear you. It is kind of a tricky time, and nobody wants to overpay. So of course you've got kind of the, you do have that momentum shifting downward. It'll be interesting to see, like, does it kind of just stabilize and then kind of, does it do the volatility thing, or is it just kind of steady climbs, or, just kind of like little bits and,
See, I don't think it'll be the steady climb, because I think it's only a steady climb at first. Like, for example, let's say LeBron James's rookie card, his Chrome card, bottoms out at $12,000. Let's just say it's 12,000, and then there's 6 sales in a row that's around 12,000, between that and 12,200, and it just seems like it's really stuck there. And then it goes up a bit, and then it goes up a bit. Well, then you got myself being like, "Yo, is this the bottom? Is it going to start trickling up?" And if you have enough people, content creators, normal people, whatever, that will share this information, kind of like Gary Vee says, hey, LeBron James card has been at $12,000 for the last 3 weeks and has not gone down, and the last 2 sales have gone up a bit, then you have a frenzy. And I'm thinking, with the media now, with like my station, your station, Sports Card Investor, all the other stations that show some sort of data or some sort of like analysis, will it then kind of people overreact because now it's like, oh, there's like a small trickle up. And now this is when it's going to go up. Let me snag the next couple so I could sell them again. Like we didn't have that level of attention on the charts and attention on like what's going on nearly as much over the last year as we do now. And it keeps getting, more and more.
Yeah, it's interesting because you see a lot of stuff that's kind of that's dropping though too. I mean, and I know that like digital currencies are not sports cards and cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency is taking a massive dive. And I'm not a big cryptocurrency person. I have some of it, but I've just recently gotten into it over the last few months. It's not something that like I've been in long term or anything. And I just kind of wonder, are people just maybe holding on to cash? Maybe they're just selling, like taking profits and then just sitting on cash because they're worried about inflation or there's other, who knows? But I think there's some macroeconomic stuff that could be happening too, that plays into it. I don't know if it's just our little card hobby, that's only being affected.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are just waiting. It's just a waiting game for a lot. What's NBA Top Shot doing? I haven't heard about it in a while. I know you had Top Shot. Is that the same type of drop as the others?
No, it's down. NFTs in general. I mean, so Top Shot is down, of course, but NFTs in general, outside of and you know what? I haven't been following like CryptoPunks and some of the high end, digital art type stuff. But NFTs in general, I from what I've seen are down. Now, look, I'm not heavy in that space. I'm not an expert, but I think in general, a lot of that stuff is kind of dipped. And I wonder if it's kind of just a blip, where it's just like everyone's taking a breather, or if it's just like NFTs were hot and now they're not. I don't know though. I think that NFTs will have some future, relevance. It's just a matter of what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Sorry, Loco card collector. Maybe next week. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't want to get too far into that. It's interesting because I'm still gung ho on the timing of it all. I'm gung ho on the timing of summer opening up, warm weather, especially in northern cities where summer is like, here in LA, summer is pretty much all right. Every month is going to be 75 and sunny and whatever. And then it's going to be a bit warmer in summer. It's going to be a bit cooler in winter, but it's all good. If you're up in Chicago, I remember being there in May a couple years ago, and it was like 30 degrees in May. And it was colder at the end of May than what it was at the coldest night of Miami, which I just come from living in Miami. And I was like, this is dreadful. So if I was living in the northern states and Canada, I'd be like, screw cards for 2 months, 3 months. I'm getting some sun. I am getting the F out. I'm traveling. I'm milking this because September comes, it's going back to basically quarantine with going out to movies and restaurants, but not like this. So I'm really hoping at least, but I'm like believing that this is highly due to the timing of COVID, the timing of summer, the options, the travel, and the need to do these other things. And if that's not the case, then I have no idea what is.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is, let's like, practically speaking, it's like if you're a new person, you're like, all right, I want to get into sports cards. PSA and BGS are closed. Retail, people are fighting each other at Target and Walmart to get retail. It's impossible to get. Hobby boxes are $2,000. It's like there's so many different kind of barriers right now that 15 months ago, 18 months ago, we're not there when we kind of had like the first big kind of movement where a lot of people got back in. There was a lot of this stuff wasn't around. I do think that if PSA and BGS were open for business and people could buy Ross and grade and kind of do that piece, I think that would make a difference. I think that would help. I just feel like you have a lot of factors that are working against the market right now. There's just
which I think is good. I think that's good. Yeah. If we know the factors that are working against it. What's that? I can't hear you through the cutout Florida Wi-Fi. Are you laying in bed or are you propped up sitting up? Because it looks like you're laying in bed with like a phone held up to your face like you're a 15-year-old girl taking a selfie before she goes to bed.
I do have what looks like a 15-year-old girl's pillow here, but
Is it the shape of a heart? Is it really the shape of a heart?
It actually is it might be my daughter's pillow, but yeah, no, I'm laying in bed. Yeah. I'm just kind of taking it easy.
Yeah, apparently.
The family is out watching the movie.
The level of professionalism Dustin brings has hit an all-time low, everyone. You might as well just pour the popcorn on your face now.
Hey,
so you are laying down.
I'm out of town. You know?
You know what you are? You're like, well, this week it's on Brad's channel, so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh my God. Okay. I don't know where we left off, but there were some good comments here.
Well, on one hand, you will say like the demand is through the roof for cards, and that's the reason why you have, you can't find retail because everybody wants it. You can't get your cards graded because everyone sent a zillion cards in to get graded. So demand is high, but if you're somebody that's trying to get into the market now, you're kind of just sitting here like, well, how do I get in right now? It's probably not a great time to get in based on all the factors.
I think it's a great time to get in because of the factors. I mean, as in, it depends what angle. If you want to go and grade raw cards,
it depends what angle.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like this is the time to learn and to see what's going on, and then to buy, because I like when the masses, when it's a frenzy, when it's a mania, like that's the one that's like, great, y'all welcome back. Here's some cards, I'll sell you, and good luck with your gambling, thinking that you know what you're doing because you hear about it, just like hearing about a stock from, what's that like saying, if you hear about the stock tip from your grandma, it's too late type of thing, or it's the same thing as on TV. I think this is the time where summer is distractions and legitimate other ways to spend money. There's all these other things. And I'm like, great, well, that's not going to last forever. The PSA, like we can talk about PSA reopening July 1st. I don't know what they're offering. I didn't get a clear answer. I think it's just we're going to open up something in addition to what we have now. But at least that's a step in the right direction. That might open up possibilities for cards that are $50 rather than just ones that are $300 or $400 that you'd have to do the math on. But any thoughts there on the PSA opening up July 1st?
Yeah, and I think that you're right. I mean, on a side note, buying graded cards, if you're coming into the market right now, a lot of these graded cards, why is my mother-in-law on the station? A lot of the graded cards are at lower prices than they were over a year ago. So if you're somebody that came, that's coming in, it's like, okay, there's actually, pricing has actually come down to a level where, it might not be, a bad time to get in. We don't know obviously where the bottom is, but yeah, no, I think PSAs open up slowly. I don't think that there's, if you go back to Nat Turner's interview, they got 600,000 cards in one day leading up to their shutdown. And he said that they grade anywhere between 10,000 and 30,000 cards a day. So that tells you right there that they got 20 to 30 days, 20 to 25 days worth of work in one day, added to their back.
That's insane.
Yeah. I think they open up slowly is my guess.
Yeah, I think they have to. I think they have to. It's just a matter of even more reason why I don't want to touch any base cards of 2017, 2018 or newer, probably 2018, 2019 or newer, unless the player was, that's it, period. Like that's a scary number where I want to make sure it is an older player, 2016, 2017, 2018, and a card that should have been graded within 6 months of that card being ripped, that box being open, not like a player that all of a sudden in his third year became someone decent and there's actually 10,000 of those cards lingering. But I mean, like numbers like that just scare me. The other thing was eBay. So let's touch on eBay as well. We'll look at the comment section, see what you guys have to say as well. So eBay came out with their new policy updates. I think there were two. Was there one or two big things with eBay? I know the policy on returns. Was there something else with eBay? Or was that it?
I thought that was pretty much the big stuff. I mean, as far as like, if you have a 14-day, I guess 14 days is the maximum return policy. If you elect to have a 14-day return policy, if you have a 0 return policy, it's 3 days.
Yeah.
That's what I heard, which to me,
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of a few months too late. I think that this, it's like, it's great that it's happening now, but I mean, we had months and months of like dealing with dumb, like I didn't have, it's not that I had a boatload of returns or anything, but I'm just thinking like there's a lot of people that would have loved to have seen this a while back.
I think that's the difference between eBay and maybe a smaller company like StarStock, where StarStock could implement something very quickly, even if they did have that type of business model where they were selling, or people could sell and buy cards from their own homes and ship it themselves. I think with eBay, there's a lot of levels of going through the corporate ladder and this person and this interface and this, and it's like, well, when you've been around since 96, 97, even proposing something like this has probably got to go through several steps before this is how we'll implement it, and this is what's going to happen, and this is when we can launch it. And so like last year in hindsight was just like the Wild West. It seemed like it was the Wild West, where it's like there's no card off limit that couldn't have value. And when the rookie cards or certain cards go through the roof, it's like, all right, well, second year card. Well, second year is through the roof. Well, second year of this other set. Okay, well, if this one, then maybe first year of this no-name set. I mean, I remember hearing podcasts and like having discussions where it's like first year Court Kings, first year, what else? First year, like Chronicles, for like these sets that we don't even care about, because everything was taken off so quickly that it only made sense that if it continued, that's not off limits and that's not off limits. And I don't know. I think right now, knowing that, okay, that was a bit too far, like that was the frenzy, and we'll probably not have a frenzy like that. It's more like, let's stick to the basics on sale. Let's stick to like rare parallels, but like stuff like that. So it's funny looking back because it was just wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Now, I think there's, and I know I'm going to sound like the optimist here, but I still think there's a lot of people that will get in over the next few years. I think that, there's going to be advancements. There's going to be improvements. I don't think any of these companies were ready for the demand. I don't think eBay was ready for the demand. I don't think PSA or BGS or SGC. I don't think and Panini. I don't think any of these companies were ready for it. And I don't think that. I think that it'll be. Look, I don't think it's going to be like 2020 every year. But yeah. I think there'll be sustainability to it over the long haul. I really do. I'm optimistic.
Oh, dude. I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's kind of like, when you see a card spike, it goes through the roof and then it comes down and then it doesn't hit where it was in 2019. But now it has a 2021 floor of like twice the price of the 2019 price, but way less than where it hit its peak at. I feel like it's the same thing with the overall market. You have the 2020 year for sports cards going through the roof, and there's no holds barred. Everything just shoots up, and it's just a frenzy, and it's madness. You remember last August, I was like, I don't know if I could buy anything. I was just selling because I'm like, this is like just craziness. There was no rules. It was just like blind optimism of like, whatever, everything's being sold, so just keep going. I'm like, that's scary. That like scares me. And so then it's like, all right, let me hold back, let me sell, and let's just see what happens. And I feel like that was like 2020 as a whole was that crazy year, and now we're back to just, all right, sustainability, normal growth overseas. Panini makes a deal with Europe. Dude, one thing I think I mentioned either in the last live stream or I didn't mention, but I've thought of it, is I want there to be an international show by this time next year, because we have the national. I think we could for sure have the first international show somewhere in Europe where it can draw in all of the European countries. Hopefully Asia, can make its way over. Australia, same thing. But why couldn't there be an international this time next year? I would love for that to happen. And, again, that's just like, to me, that's just the growth continuing, and, random thought, but just wanted to say it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm in a weird spot. I don't have my fiber today. I don't have the AT&T fiber today.
The fiber bars?
I don't have any fiber bars today, or for that matter.
Yeah. All right. So what else we got going on? There was a question about if I'm buying any skill positions. Were you buying any football recently, or just that Tatum card?
I mean, I bought some like vintage 80s football over the last couple of months. I bought some Baker Mayfield stuff.
Yeah.
And I showed that, some like the National Treasures and, some, I wouldn't say a lot of spec stuff. I bought like a bunch of position players where I'm like hoping that they do well to sell. It's been more of just kind of picking and choosing between Tom Brady stuff or, I got a couple of Breeze things, but that's PC. I'm not buying Breeze to flip it.
Right.
Nothing, not any position players.
Yeah, and I saw this comment here. I was buying position players on Comp C on the low end stuff, but I've not really bought much position players high end or graded since Michael Thomas. That was the biggest one where I was like, his prices, it was like $65 for a PSA 9 Prism Silver, because it was silver was the base that year, but $65 and then like $230 for the 10. And I expect him to be back. And if not, then that would suck. But I think that's like pretty much the bottom for him, and maybe I just break even, and that if that's the worst case scenario, then I'll take it. But besides that, like sales have been pretty much dead on Comp C, because mostly what I have is football, and football hasn't turned upwards yet. So it's been more like steady decline with the other sports, or break even, or like flat, but not really an upwards tick. And I'm hoping that once the basketball season's over, once Olympics are happening and people are like watching it, but then it kind of trickles into football hype, I'm hoping that's when it really happens. I was going to ask you, you saw my latest video with the Mahomes PSA 8 purchases. What do you think of that? Like, just because like it's kind of random in a way that it's a PSA 8, but obviously it's a very noticeable card. Any input on that one?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because you got a bunch of them. How much did you pay for those roughly?
About $950 each.
Yeah, I mean, I love the card. I used to own I'm one of these. I'm a guy that sold those too early. I had a few 9s that I sold too early. Too early compared to where prices went, obviously. Yeah, you missed plenty of cringe, Jim.
Yeah, mostly on Dustin's side, a bit on my side.
I really like the card. I think it's just gonna, like, price points are so tough. It's like, but you know what? Mahomes is one of those guys. I'm sure Larry's in the chat somewhere. He's going to watch. Who's our guy? Larry Smith, I think, who actually is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, right.
I've never met like a bigger Patrick Mahomes fan ever. But no, I think, Pat Mahomes is like the most exciting guy in football right now. I mean, so yeah, I don't know. I think you probably blew it, but you might be all right. That's my feedback there. Awesome. I almost bought a Michael Thomas orange numbered rookie in Dallas when we were in Dallas, because it was listed at $400. And I remember the silver prism at some point was selling, at the height was selling at like $800. And so I was looking at that orange that was numbered at about half of that. And I was thinking, well, that's actually not a bad price point. Like if I'm comparing it to, where that silver was. Now, granted, you might say that the silver is more liquid than the orange. Fine, but I didn't end up buying it. That was the closest I've gotten to a position player.
And I think that's the one thing with a position player like Michael Thomas, where you could be a great receiver, but unless you're even Calvin Johnson, who was a great receiver, it's like, do I really want a rare variation of a player that doesn't have necessarily a long career guaranteed? Because a receiver could last 6 years, 7 years, and that's it. I mean, maybe he goes down from here. Maybe we've seen the best of Michael Thomas in 2019, and then 2020 was a bad year, and then 2021 is a lousy year, and then it's kind of like, oh yeah, you were that one guy that had 2 great seasons, and that's it. That's where, like, even the Mahomes, I'm like, on paper, the Chiefs should be back. They should be better than ever. They should be in the running for the AFC Championship game, but I don't know what Mahomes' legacy is going to be long term. I know what Tom Brady's is already, so I'd rather take a gamble on a second-year Brady card and a rare card on Brady where he's towards the end of his career the last year or two, but at least he's the best ever, while Mahomes could be if he keeps playing it this way, if he doesn't have a devastating injury, if anything happens. So, it's one of those things where like an orange Michael Thomas sounds way too risky just to be able to move it unless you wanted it for yourself. And I do see here, I think it's, let's see who super chatted us. Oh, of course it's Dex Flow. Appreciate you, Dex. Proud with the national being mostly maskless. Any chance we get a COVID positive? Yes. In fact, I got to jot that down. Yes. Keep back. Stay back. I have COVID sign on the back of Dustin's back. That'd be awesome.
Unreal. Thanks, Dex. Thanks for nothing, buddy.
Appreciate it, Troy. Yeah, and the thing is with the Mahomes buy, all right, so it was PSA 8. So if you saw that video, it was a PSA 8. The 10s were trending downwards in price pretty rapidly. The 9s were trending downwards in price. When I bought the 8s were very flat. They were at like 1,200 and like 1,400 and maybe like 2,200 in that peak time. And then everyone I saw was around 900 to $1,000, always in there. And the raw card was selling for more. And I was like, well, I don't want to send this in and get graded because now it's $300 to get graded to probably get an 8. When, if you feel like you're going to get a PSA 10 Patrick Mahomes prism and you have it in your hand and you're looking at it and you have a magnifying lamp, you just send it in. You don't like put on eBay to sell raw for $1,200 if you feel like that card can be worth 10 grand, or even a 9 when you see that could be worth 2,500. So that's where I thought, the 8s should be liquid enough just based on the player and the card. But hey, we'll see. And again, worst case scenario, worst case, I sell at cost and then I learn a lesson and I'm out without losing money. It's like, that's not the worst thing in the world.
I mean, it's really kind of the main rookie card for the biggest player in football right now. So, I mean, there's worse places to put your money, I would say.
Yeah. And what's funny is Al was actually going to help me out with that prank at the National. We saw each other for a bit, and then we got separated. And I told Al, like, I was going to put that sign on your back. He's like, oh, can I help out? And then we just didn't find each other at the right time. But
I'm just glad that I can bring you together with all these people conspiring against me.
Well, what you don't realize is we bond over pranking you. That's what brings us together. Words don't really bring us together. Pranking Dustin brings us together. I'm going to have
it's not even the hobby bringing people together. It's just pranks on me. Bring it together.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to have 50 people that I meet. I'm going to give them peanuts or something. And their job is just to chuck peanuts at you the whole time as they see you walk around the floor. Are you familiar with Prism NFTs? Because I don't know too much about that.
Yeah, I mean, I know a little bit about it. I just know that kind of Prism is supposed to be kind of Prism's answer to kind of the Top Shot craze and everything going on. I've seen good and bad with it. I did actually see Ziggy. I think he posted a video trying to get them. Just like with everything else, it seems like, it's difficult to get. I don't know if it was bots or monitors or whatever, but I feel like the average Joe is at a big disadvantage trying to buy product online in today's market. With all the bots and all the stuff, it's like it's an uphill battle.
But here's an interesting question. You guys think Hester is a buy? I'm guessing Devin Hester, and to me, I'm like, I remember how great he was at that kick return, punt return. That to me is way too small of a window. I don't know. It seems like Devin Hester. Does anyone even care? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that would be my question. If you're a collector and you love Devin Hester and but if you're looking to, I guess, make money on Devin, I don't know. I mean, I think you're right. It's like, how many collectors are out there for him? There might be a lot. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's not for me. But.
Yeah. And I mean, look, when I saw some comments here, like Willie Mays, from Shea, all the Willie Mays, it's like if the prices are low, I mean, I like going with upcoming season and that because I know that the person I'm trying to sell to is the short-term flipper that has no patience. Like I know that that is the person I want to sell to, that they're obsessed with going to Ibiza now and and enjoying summer. And then once they hear about cards again, they're gonna jump into cards and they're gonna be buying when prices have already shot up 70%, and I'll sell to them there, and maybe it goes up another 50%, and maybe they sell in time, maybe they don't. But I'm not like, I know I can outsmart someone that is not really putting in effort and is very impulsive and also last second, very impatient. So I know that all the cards I'm buying, those are the ones that I want to, that's the like my target buyer right there. So in terms of safety though, like man, I'm seeing Kobe Bryant rookie cards that have dropped and appear to plateau. Obviously, you could look at the LeBron, see where those go, the Jordans, all these players where it's like, it's not a short-term flipper that's going to buy it more than likely. It's an actual collector that will buy it at some point. But yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah, price point is king, really, with everything. I mean, even if you're a collector, if you're, whether you're a collector, investor, whatever it is, even if you're a collector and you're never going to sell that thing, if you get that thing at a lower price, you can collect more things. I mean, like,
who doesn't want a good deal? I mean, that's why I'm like, look, it doesn't matter if you're collecting or investing. Do it when you can buy more for less. Why not? Because now you could buy an extra card. You can go out to dinner and buy the card. You can do whatever you want. Why pay more if you don't have to? So that's
you can go on a Hinge date or a Bumble date.
Oh yeah. Oh hey man, and drinks and stuff. It's not cheap here in LA. So if I could save an extra $50, $80, I will do it. I will do it for sure.
I feel sorry for your dates in LA. How do you like, hey, look, we're gonna have a drink at my
Two waters, please.
I'm not buying a drink for you out somewhere out here. I'll make you a drink here. We'll go, like
I bring like a flask with me. No, I got your drink. I got your drink right here. One glass of cranberry juice. The generic cranberry juice.
She's like, I'll have a vodka, and you're like, whoa, excuse me.
I got the vodka right here. Don't worry, I got it. Here, wait, other pocket. Wait, this is the whiskey. Tequila? Oh yeah, hold on a second.
She'll have a water with lemon, and that's
extra lemons, please. Keep the lemons coming.
Oh man,
what else we got?
Dream date with Brad.
Hey, there are some really cool spots I've been to lately here in LA like Hermosa Beach and areas that I'd never been to before. So it's pretty cool just to explore California again, go out. And now we're finally maskless, which is new. Like now we can go places without masks indoors, which is only literally a week and a half, 2 weeks old. So we're having fun there. When he's going on live on a date when he flashes the Yeah, maybe I'll do like a picture for Instagram where I'm on a date, but like she's talking to me and I just hold up a card and do a selfie. And do you have any thoughts on Ohtani? I know I've heard the name. I've seen he's having a great year. I just don't follow baseball closely. Anything there?
I don't follow baseball either, but same thing. I've heard only amazing things about that guy. I know everyone's really excited about him. I guess for the baseball people out there, is this somebody that people were aware of? Because and the reason why I ask is like this guy was never on my radar at all. And I'm not like, I know I don't follow baseball, but I mean, is he someone that came out of nowhere, or is this something that people expected?
Yeah, I mean, it's like if he's popping off now, my initial instinct is to sell just because the odds that it continues versus the odds that it doesn't. I feel like if you look across the board of athletes that were really hot at some point for weeks and weeks or months and months, it's just 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 will go down before the season's over versus go up. And even like Nikola Jokic, who was named MVP and things happened, it was still like a prime window to sell, I believe, in February or March, in spite of all that. And I'd have to check his charts again, but even stuff like that, I'm like, if I would not be buying while his name is being mentioned. It's just, it could go up. He could be MVP. He could whatever. I'm just like, okay, well, then I'll know next season to maybe go in on him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's all
I'll show you my slab. Yeah.
She's like, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
All right, Dustin, entertain the audience. I got to pee.
We're doing this again, like, guys, this is why do I even join these? Like, why do I do this? It makes absolutely no sense. This guy cannot even run his own channel. He can't literally be on a live for 45 minutes before he has to go to the bathroom. We don't even know if it's like number 1 or number 2. So anyway, I'll just go straight to the comments. Sorry, everybody. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Otani is old news. Brad Slab is off center from Chris Cadell. Finally, a host who cares. Thank you, Michael. Thanks, Michael. This guy it's embarrassing, really. Because Skeff's comic knowledge. Skeff, what comics are you buying? Talk to me about comics. Brad knows nothing about comics. He'll let you down there. Ryan nailed it. I should have bet when Brad had to pee. Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's become a ritual. Yeah, I didn't wash my hands. I don't need to. I'm at home. I'm okay with it. Yeah, I saw the viewer count just drop. Not drop. It was like March prices down to June prices was that type of drop, that level of drop. So, yeah, it's become a ritual. In fact, maybe that's going to be a thing. At what minute will I leave for the restroom? But what you guys don't know or you don't see is that I drink a gallon of water a day. I just came from the gym and I went to the steam room. So it was like more water being drank. Had my 60-ounce smoothie so that I can eat my super delicious cupcakes, muffins combination later. And, my kidneys are just emptying it out.
Is your date in the corner over here waiting for you to finish the live stream?
Yeah. Like, I'm actually going to text her in about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Amanda, keep it down. We're still on the live stream.
Dude, that's the other thing. Let's talk about NBA playoffs. And the reason I remember that or I'm reminded of it is because I see the word injury. And the thing is, like, I feel like free throws and injuries have been the main theme of the NBA playoffs. Is that weird? Is that like a weird thing that this season it seems like the winner will be the team that doesn't have a player that chokes at the free throw line or is not decimated by injuries?
It's a weird year. It's funny when people say, like, oh, I love the parity in the NBA. Like a different team wins all the time. It's like, no, that's not what happens in the NBA. I mean, it's always the same teams that win. It's the same 4 or 5 teams. So thank you, Michael.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on the NBA right now. Obviously, we got a game going on, so we'll sign off in about 10 minutes or so. Clippers are up. They've got if they lose this, they're down 0-3 to the Suns. One thing with the basketball card market not being very hot right now is I just think if the NBA had less games this year and they started the playoffs when they normally would, as in made this, how many games was this season? Do you remember? Was it 60? Was it 50?
It was 70 or 72.
Okay, yeah. Versus 82. So it was only like 10 or 12 less. But if they made this a 40-game season where every game mattered a lot and then started the playoffs in April, I think the card market would have been a lot different. But when you start the when did the playoffs start? Like end of May, right? Yeah. I mean, you're like literally starting the NBA playoffs the moment school is out and people can actually go outside for the first time in a year and a half, a year and 3 quarters, or, at least enjoy summer weather for the first time in over a year and a half. And I think that really hurt the NBA prices because it's really hard to care about NBA playoffs as much when you have these other things going on for the first time.
Yeah, we need a break from basketball. I mean, we need a healthy offseason from basketball, and the players need it too. Everybody needs it.
So are you – I mean, like a lot of people are like basketball has kind of ruined themselves. They've gotten too political. People aren't watching. You remember you saw the fans like really act pretty poorly towards a lot of the players. Do you have less of an interest in basketball now than before based on the craziness of the season and just like how things have gone on and off the court?
Yeah, for me, it's more just about the product on the court. The political stuff wasn't much of a bother to me as much as it was just guys sitting out because of injury or just NBA players resting. like I just remember growing up when it was, Jordan, Magic, Larry. I don't remember, and maybe I just don't remember, but I just don't remember guys sitting out for half the season. I mean, I don't know. I just don't remember that, and I just don't, and it was just a boring regular season. It was kind of like we were just waiting for the playoffs, and I think that it was like this is a Lakers Nets finals. Just if they had stayed healthy, it probably would have been a Lakers Nets finals.
I thought really the season was not fun. It wasn't like the hype of the season prior when we needed the bubble and we needed anything and we like desperately craved it. This was more like every game. It felt like the NBA season was kind of like baseball's regular season where, oh, you played 2 games today. Oh, you played a back-to-back-to-back. Oh, you rested this guy and this guy's kind of the starter. And it's like, all right, what's the point? What's the point of watching? I can't even watch one box score because by the time I see what happened in one game, the next game's already underway, and this player's out. This player's kind of bruised. It was just a boring season. And then, I mean, obviously I don't like flops. I can't stand all that kind of stuff. But when the teams that are succeeding are the ones that are the ones that are healthy, like, congrats, you're not decimated by injuries. It's just like a lousy year. So I wasn't really into this year, but I'm very excited about football, obviously.
Same. Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of really exciting young talent in the NBA. I'm happy to see, assuming, I mean, the Clippers are kind of the veteran team left, but if the Clippers don't win, then it's going to be a brand new team. It's going to be a young star that's getting their first championship, and I think that's good for the NBA right now.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just just like this.
Well,
I mean, here's the thing. It's like you want to make it fun, and I just felt like it just was not fun. I felt like the card aspect was way more fun than the actual sport of basketball. Oh, see, hey, I'll take it, man. I appreciate the $5 super chat or $5 Canadian super chat, Troy. I didn't know you were up there.
What's up, Troy?
So there you go. So my urine, the time I went to the restroom, actually brought in $5 Canadian. I will take that.
You've spent more time talking about you going to the bathroom than actual cards.
Well, it's a slow period, man. Look, it's a slow time. So we're talking dating, we're talking love line, we're talking everything else. But the truth is that it has been a pretty slow time. It has been like the excitement of cards being the thing that it's still fun, but it's not like the same as this time last year. To be honest, like it's still fun, but to be honest, it's like, all right, well, we got other stuff back, so now it can incorporate itself into our lives normally versus be the only thing that we're talking about. Like you're on vacation now. You wouldn't have been on vacation this time last year, more than likely.
Yeah. Hey, did you see the report that Catherine? Did you see the report that Tom Brady was almost a Saint? Came out today.
I saw the headline, but it was something like why the Saints didn't sign, or like that time the Saints didn't sign Tom Brady or something like that.
Well, yeah, and I hope I find out more. Like, was it Tom Brady's decision? Was it Saints' decision because of Drew Brees and just out of respect for Brees? I'm assuming out of respect for Brees, they wouldn't do it because they just wouldn't like want to deal with it.
As in kick Brees out and then bring Tom in, kind of like Aaron Rodgers' situation.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like Brees has been. I mean, he's the best player in our franchise's history. It's like
on and off the field too.
And off the field.
Yeah, for the community, you don't do that just for what he's done in the community.
No, but it's interesting though. It's like I'd like to know, like, did they actually have like a real conversation? Were they actually like thinking about signing him? Was he, I'd love to hear more about that. Yeah,
it's interesting, man. All right, well, we got like a couple minutes left. Anything else on your mind? I know you're there on vacation, and we talked about NBA playoffs. You going with the Suns winning it all? Is that your team?
I know that people have asked me. I saw Joe earlier in the chat. He had asked about my Booker Select courtside, and I just love that card. I'm just going to hang on to it. And I'm pulling for the Suns, but honestly, like if it was like the Bucks winning their first championship with Giannis or any of these other teams, these young teams, I'm excited for kind of whoever wins. It's not the Clippers. I'll be honest. I don't really care. It's not that I don't like the Clippers. It's just out of all the remaining teams, it's like, I don't really want to see the Clippers.
Yeah, as in, it's weird because I'm like, why do I not? It's they don't have like, I don't know, like a fun factor, because obviously Kawhi Leonard's like not a fun guy. He's great on the court, but I don't enjoy watching them play. Like I like watching Dallas. I like watching Portland. I like watching the Suns. I really like the Suns because I like Chris Paul a lot. I just like the way he plays, but also I like who he is off the court. I like his commercials. He's well-spoken. He's smart. I like that, and I like Devin Booker. And any small market team I'm going to root for, because it's an uphill climb as a small market team to attract top talent, especially in this era. And I think that's something I don't like now, just because I feel like back in the 80s and 90s, it was like you're drafted there. Your job is to win a championship, or you retire without it. But you don't like think, well, what about my movie deals and what about this? And I feel like ever since Shaq left, I feel like that's kind of become a thing where other opportunities and sponsorships have really seemed to steer players into a couple select markets. And I don't know, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, because you only need one star athlete to really swing a team. It's not like football or baseball, or hockey, where you need a legit team around. You have one LeBron James, LeBron in his prime, and he makes any team NBA finals contender.
Yeah, and if the Clippers win the championship without Kawhi, then Kawhi's going to have 3 rings with 3 different teams, and he will not have played in basically the semifinals and the finals. So you'd have like an asterisk by it, essentially.
Mm.
It would be amazing for Paul George's career, just because Paul George, it would be like, wow, like, he came out of nowhere. I mean, not that he came out of nowhere, but he really stepped up.
But yeah, I mean, what game was it? Because I didn't watch the games. I didn't have time last night, but was it 2 nights ago where Paul George missed the free throws, or was that that?
Yes.
What is with that's the craziest thing to me, is where you have star players that are like 70 to 85% free throw shooters missing free throws, like they're Dwight Howard and Shaquille O'Neal and some of these like historically bad free throw shooters, like centers that can't even hold the ball because their hand's too big. And you have like good players. Was it Ben Simmons, Paul George, Luka? There were a couple that are like, how in the world does this happen? And I don't know if it's just a weird year or what, but certain things are just like funky this year.
Was that your Bumble date?
It's actually an auction ending. This will be interesting. I'm going to place a bid. It ends in a minute. And once it's over, win or lose, I'll tell you what it is. It's actually a basketball card. It is a PSA 10. That's what I'll say right now. And in a minute, I'll reveal what card it is, win or lose. Do you want to take any guesses? Knowing me and knowing it is basketball, it is a current player. Knowing me, What do you think?
Knowing you, current player, trying to buy the dip. I feel like it might be a Kawhi card, possibly, even though I know you don't think that he's, I know you don't think that he's like, popular or whatever, like his personality, but I'm sure his stuff is dropped. I don't know, maybe. Maybe Giannis. I would guess Giannis, possibly.
Well, he's a current player, but he's not necessarily in the playoffs. I'm just trying to steal this card or get this card at a steal. You have 19 seconds before it ends. I'm going to put in a bid. This will be my bid right now.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with $215.
It's a Zion or a Luka, I would say.
And maybe that's a bit too much. We'll see. Oh, let me see. Ooh. Okay, I think I won. Hold on. I won. So I won the card. It is a Prism. Okay, this is a 20. This is kind of good. This makes for good YouTube right here. 2016 Jamal Murray Silver Mosaic Prism PSA 10. So it is his rookie card. It is a mosaic. So I'm going to hold it up there.
Yeah, I've got that card.
Okay, so 159 for a 10. I think that's pretty good for 159.
I just sold mine for 159.
Wait, hold on. Let me cancel the auction. You want to just do it through Instagram? So
No,
I think, but like
159 is very low for that card.
Because look,
from where it's been.
Well, yeah, let me see if I can get that clear because I think it's focusing on my face. So I think that's pretty legit. And the reason why is because the PSA 10 normally of the silver was going for about 200 or so, just normally. And I'm like, well, if I can get a parallel that still looks pretty good for the same price, and I don't even know what the pop is, I'll have to check. It should be a better deal. But 159, I think, is great. And I think the reason why I'm kind of looking at cards like this, and this is just like something I've adopted, is that if I have a search on eBay for, let's say, Jamal Murray Prism PSA 10, and then what pops up is a parallel, I'll also think to myself, how many people are just so focused on the base or the silver that they're not going to take a parallel?
Are you going to pay the pizza guy, or is he just going to honk all night?
Yeah, seriously. Shut up!
I'm on a live stream.
I'm live streaming over here. See, that's what happens when you live in a small apartment. You have like 19 people all around you.
Oh,
all right. Anyway, so that's pretty cool that I got that card. 159 is a legit deal. I think that's a great deal for that card. There's no way I'm selling that for less at the beginning of next season unless the whole market tanks and every card is worth like $40. There it is. All right. Any final thoughts before we head off?
No, this is like I always say, it's about an hour longer than I want it to be. So I got to get to the Suns game, man.
I'm glad your Florida internet actually held up at the end. I think that horn signals it. Like
she's like, I am not going to date you anymore. This is bullshit.
Yeah, I love this comment here too. But
wow.
Well, it's kind of like the buzzer at the end of the game. It's kind of like, all right, game's over, guys. Thanks for joining. Can't wait to see you next time. Dustin, enjoy your vacation.
Brad is still single.
Yeah, but I'll be looking. All right, guys. Have a good night, and I'll catch you next time.